Hello and welcome to Farmspace. So I've got Tinus here behind me. We'll be chatting about strip grazing and how it went this year with all our tours and a few tips and tricks that we learned along the way. Let's have a listen. Tinus, always a pleasure having you.
Thanks, Pierre.
So our strip grazing tour this year was rather successful. We went all over the country. Chat to us about a few things that we learned and did along the way.
Pierre, I think the most important things that I've learned is you have to adapt your the strip grazing concept to your farm. You can't force other people's ideas, other people's way of doing onto your farm and onto your animals. And main thing for me is animal health first. That is, if your animals aren't healthy, you're not making money. They're your production, they're your factory. So the main thing is yes, your soil is important and your grass is important, but just with that is you need to make sure your animals are healthy.
Okay, so we're on a farm out here just outside Monimole. Chat to us about how this farm has adapted his fields and to his situations with strip grazing.
Okay, so he doesn't do strip grazing in total, but he does move his animals on daily to different camps, to different areas, which means they do get to rest and they do have time. So that differs a lot from your farmers in the northwest, like Gideon Oosthuizen or Dani Slabbert as well, that moves the animals 5, 6, 7 times a day. So there your animals need to adapt to it. They do take a while. It's things you need to consider. Definitely with the fertility, if you start it now, you'll have a drop in fertility. So you need to decide, can I afford that? And how much can I afford? For me, personally, I like the idea of only moving my animals once. I think it's less effort. And we all know the most expensive thing on the farm these days is labor. So you move your animals maybe once a day. You still do the same thing, but you don't have that pressure on your animals. And the thing that I do feel most farmers that I would love to see is everyone using chickens afterwards. And the reason for that being, it picks up all the ticks, all the fleas, everything, and it fertilizes better. So it scratches, it's always looking for food. It helps spreading the manure, and it breaks that cycle. So it breaks your tick cycle, it breaks your flea cycle. At the end of the day, you will have healthier animals. And it gives you, if you do it well, a second income.
Perfect. And so, but in the end of the day, there is no blueprint for strip grazing on your farm. So what are the few factors that a farmer needs to look at so he can decide on what would be best for him?
Yeah, so the first thing is water, rain. So the way you do it here is you can't do it, or the way you do it on your farm will differ from someone over here, someone in the northwest, or someone in the Western Cape. So if you're in the Western Cape, they will do it in a certain way. They have winter rainfall. They have different things to worry about. Here they need to be more vigilant regarding ticks and fleas because we do have a big problem in these areas, and the veld here is still very sour. That's things you need to consider. The type of cattle you need to keep. So I always believe a real medium frame, not a decent medium frame animal, because you do put them under pressure. There is a little bit more pressure. Go for your breeds that are known to be more fertile, because at the end of the day, you want a 90+ fertility score. You still want good milk. We want a growing calf. So you need to think on how I do that best. So if you're using maybe a big bull on on your smaller breed cows, that could be an option. Or if you go stud, you may be thinking of your smaller African breeds. Drakensbergers are known for being hard, known for doing Holland strip grazing, sour veld. They're good, they've got great fertility, but so is most of the other African breeds. The Boeran, the Nguni, the Tuli, most of them will adapt well into those sort of systems, and most of the crossbreeding, your crossbreeds will do well, but you need to select them for a certain breed. If you look at the way the Drought Master is selected, yes, there's a lot of breeds with the same genetics or the same we're going to say composition, but they were selected to be drought resistant, to be tough, to be more fertile. And if you choose your animals, that is the way you need to think about it.
Perfect. So Tinus, we've still got a few more strip grazing events coming up for next year. What can we expect?
Well, we're hopefully doing one in the Western Cape very soon. We're just waiting for confirmation. And that would be one that will include the whole picture. We're talking cows, sheep, pigs, and chickens, chickens, all on one farm, and how they adapted their system and how they came from, where they come from. I think that's the best story is where they came from, decided that they are not going to survive the droughts, they're not going to survive the way of doing, the way of doing them, not the best and most profitable, and it's high risk every year for them. If they don't have enough rain, if they've got don't have rain at the right times, their crops die. So they moved away from those sort of crops, went into to cattle farming under the pivots and under the irrigation, and that is working perfectly for them. And if you look at their grass over there, it is looking absolutely brilliant, and you can see the soil is healthy.
Perfect. Tinus, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
So there you have it. So as you can see, we haven't even touched the surface of what you need to cover for strip grazing. So if you want to find out more information, go visit www.stripgrazing.co.za to find out when the next event is near you. Until next time, cheers.